All right, so we've already talked about some of the benefits of work from home, some of the risks, and everybody and their brother has a checklist about, hey, this is how you set up your work from home environment. Make sure you have antivirus. Make sure you have a separate Wi-Fi network. Make sure you use VPN. What if I told you I'm not going to talk about that stuff? I'll talk about a little bit about protecting it, but like that's just normal crap that just everybody puts out there. Let's actually dive into this and actually produce something that is more secure, helps you expand your business, and actually make decisions. So let's talk about it. Hi, I'm Chris Burns from Tech Gurus, and welcome back. If this is the first time here, welcome. If not, you should probably know who I am by now. Let's talk about how do we set up work from home for our business or remote work. Maybe you have salespeople that travel, maybe some of your business development people travel. Cool. How do we do it? Well, a lot of checklists you're going to read on the internet are make sure you have antivirus, make sure you have separate Wi-Fi networks, don't connect to coffee shop Wi-Fi. Well, it's all true, but let's actually dive into it a little deeper and let's actually go through 5 things today that are going to make it a little bit easier for you to understand how to construct this for your business and what kind of tools and technologies are out there so that you know it exists, so you know that you can ask for it. So number 1, you have to establish a BYOD policy. That's a bring your own device policy. Are you going to allow it or are you not? Let's start there. There's some advantages to allowing BYOD. 1, you don't have to make the capital investment into the device. You could make it operational by doing a lease, but you don't have to make that investment. You can allow people to bring their own device. Maybe somebody has a laptop they want to use. Maybe they have a desktop they want to use. Maybe they want to work on a tablet. It depends on how your business is constructed. If you're using mostly software as a service applications in a browser, cool. You could maybe let them do it. Now there are risks to that, and that's something you have to determine. You know, what's running on that computer, what's running on that tablet. Could you maybe leak some data? Could you get some stuff stolen? That's something you have to think about. And if we go on to number 2, it's now that you've had the policy established, maybe we're going to assume now that you are saying, no, you cannot bring your own device. We as a company, we're going to provide you with a device. Cool. So you're either going to buy a laptop or desktop or whatever for the employee. You're going to provide all that. And the advantage to that is you get to control what goes on that device. You're not beholden to the employee to put games on there, things that they don't need, letting their kids get on there and play Roblox or something like that. You can actually restrict that. You can put on good security tools. You can put on all the things that you need to protect your data, and you can implement policies on there that you can't necessarily do on a bring your own device situation. So let's move on to number 3. Maybe you don't want to buy hardware. Maybe you want to let people use bring your own device. Cool. Let's use a virtual desktop. Let's allow people to remote into a Windows 10 environment, Windows 11 environment, and they only do work from inside of that. And we construct the entire business around, hey, you can't access this data outside this environment. You can only access it inside of this environment. It allows you to let people bring their own device, but it protects the data because you can actually construct it to where they're only allowed to use it inside the virtual desktop. But that also brings up a hybrid option. If you want to combine numbers 2 and 3 and you say, okay, some people we're going to allow bring your own device. They're going to work at a virtual desktop. Some people we're going to give a corporate device to because maybe they're salespeople and they don't want to log into a virtual desktop to do sales presentations. They want to use something that's a device that they have that they can bring presentations with, bring sales sheets with, bring whatever data they want to bring, whatever information they need to bring, but you don't want to allow that on a personal device. Cool. You can combine the two. It's not either or, it can be an and situation. So number 4 is use Microsoft 365. And I know we sell it and I know it's something out there, but the reason that we say that is because there are things built into Microsoft that allow us to protect your data that's stored there. So you can allow people to bring their own device and still protect data. You can have corporate devices and still protect your data. So let's start with what mobile device management is. What that's going to let you do is you can set policies on devices that are enrolled, almost like they're on a corporate network, but we can restrict things. We can set things up. We can make things more secure. We can control the device. We can wipe the device. So if somebody leaves the company, or you're going to terminate them, we could just issue a wipe command, and when that thing is on the internet, boom, it wipes it. That's the power of MDM, or mobile device management. But let's say you want to let people work from home. You want to let people bring your own device. Cool. We could do something called mobile app management, where we're going to say, hey, the business data can only be used inside of these apps on personal devices. Now, that could be iPhones, it could be Androids, it could be Windows 10, it could be Macs. But then we're going to use the application management policies to prevent users from copying business data from Office apps to the personal apps. And then we can also remove all of that information on the personal device without touching the personal information. Normally what you're going to do is you're going to combine that with something called Windows Information Protection, and that's going to allow us to, that's where we actually get to where we can restrict the local data. We can block it from being added to removable devices. It's a common experience across all Windows 10 devices, Windows 11 devices as well. We can restrict copy and paste functions. We can restrict save as functions inside of the applications and for the data. We can just prevent unauthorized applications from accessing business data, and we can discriminate between personal and corporate data. So it allows you to kind of go back and say, hey, I'm going to allow bring your own device in this situation. We're going to use corporate devices in this situation, and maybe we're going to use virtual desktops for this situation. But we can manage all of that from inside of the policies that Microsoft provides us. Now, if you have information on servers and things like that, that's where it gets a little stickier, because that's stuff we have to go through a little different way to restrict that. But for the most part, a lot of businesses today can live inside of that ecosystem. They can live inside of Microsoft 365, and they can have their data there between SharePoint and OneDrive. So we can actually restrict that. And a lot of companies don't realize that that's a possibility. Now it comes down to you have to make sure you have the right licensing with Microsoft, but it's really not that bad. Traditionally, people always say use VPNs. And to be quite fair, VPNs worked for a lot of people, but VPNs are kind of legacy technology now. What you want to move on to is something called SASE. And spelled SASE, stands for Secure Access Service Edge. And it expands well beyond what VPN offers. So VPN really just offers access to your network, right? SASE allows us to control access to your network, to maybe applications. Like we could restrict access to Microsoft 365. We could say, hey, if you're not on our SASE product or our SASE Edge, you can't connect to Microsoft 365. We could do that for other software as a service applications. It allows us to put a firewall on there. So if we load that on somebody's computer, including the personal device, we could require that so that they can connect to your applications. We could firewall it off while it's active. So while it's active, anybody else in the network is actually blocked. This is the next generation of connectivity. And then it can protect the device wherever it is. It doesn't matter if it's at a personal home. It doesn't matter if it's a coffee shop. All of that traffic is protected. And this is where we have to go. It's not NordVPN that you're going to buy, which, not plugging Nord, it's just one that people bring to me all the time. They kind of tell you, hey, we're going to secure your entire connection. And that's not necessarily true. So we got to go to next generation stuff where we're talking about SASE. We're talking about, hey, how do we define maybe zero trust? And zero trust in this case would be, we're just going to not allow devices around us to connect to our device. We're not trusting any device unless we make a rule to allow that. So these are the 5 things that really are how you can construct that. Now, we could go deeper in that, but this is really a conversation about, I wanted you to know what's available, the things that are possible. Because if you don't know what's possible, it's hard to actually come up with a solution for your business or even for personal. So now that you know what's possible, now we can have the conversation about, okay, how does this work for your business? And that's the next step. That's the next conversation you have, is how do we use some of these tools to protect our business, to make it better? How do we maybe move more into the future? Maybe we're running a lot of legacy stuff. Maybe we don't need to. Maybe we're supporting systems that, quite frankly, are costing us money that we can move to like a cloud solution where we don't have to worry about that. These are the things that you need to think about. So I hope this is helpful. I hope you learned a lot. Comment down below. DM us, direct message us. Let us know what you think. Share this. Like this, please. Subscribe. And until next time, stay cyber safe.